Hello everyone and welcome to today's webinar, Luxury and Outdoor Experiences in Ireland. I'm Dan McDonald from Baxter Media and today is August 26th, 2020. Now just before we get into things, I'd like to check in with our viewers to let you all know that if you have any questions during this webinar, feel free to type them into the Q&A box found in your Zoom toolbar and those questions will be answered in due time. Any comments or thank you messages can be submitted to the chat box. And speaking first today is Sandra Moffatt, Trade and Digital Marketing Executive for Tourism Ireland. Hi, Sandra. Thank you so much for being here.
Hi, Dan. Thanks for having us. And hi, everybody. So today what we're focusing on is luxury and outdoor escapes in Ireland. So Ireland has an abundance of these, and I'm really excited to introduce our speakers today, which are Patrice O'Mahony from the Europe Hotel and Resort, a beautiful property in Killarney in County Kerry. We also have Mary McKeown from the Dark Sky Park and Observatory here. And we have Paula from the Merchant Hotel in Belfast as well. So I'll let them chat to you all about their incredible properties and what they have to offer in Ireland in a couple of moments. But before we kick off with that, I just wanted to give you a little quick update about where travel to Ireland is from Canada at this time. So at the moment there is quarantine restrictions in place for international arrivals from Canada, very similar to the situation that we have here for arrivals into Canada. So if you are arriving into Ireland at the moment, you do have to do that 2-week quarantine. It's being reviewed very, very regularly by the Irish government. And as soon as that is lifted or there are changes in those policies, we will be sure to let you know. There are some helpful resources if you are planning travel for your clients to Ireland and to Europe, and I have these on the screen here. So one of them is reopen.europa.eu, and there is the Canadian site there as well, which is timetotravel.ca. So that will give you all the latest information if you are viewing this at a later date and you need some more updated information. COVID cases are quite low in Ireland. We are very proud to say that we have been handling the situation well and taking a very cautious approach similar to that here in Canada. And safety really is our priority. So you will see in Ireland, if you are traveling around the country, these safety charters. And what these mean is that just that the businesses in Ireland really are adhering to very strict protocols and procedures. They're all things that would be very familiar to you. You know, staying a safe distance from others, making sure to wear a face mask, hygiene and procedures and training for the staff involved in tourism and hospitality businesses there. They are per sector, so there's different guidelines in place for various business types, and you can find out what those details are on these two websites here. These are available on our trade website, trade.ireland.com, which I will share with you later and follow up by email as well for those of you who have opted in for that information. And just make sure to keep an eye on those for any updates. But getting into the much more fun stuff, which is Ireland's experiences. So just a quick introduction to some of our experience brands for those of you who aren't overly familiar with Ireland. So from Canada, you will typically fly right into Dublin, which is here on the east side of the country. Dublin's an incredible city in itself, and we also then have Ireland's Ancient East, which is our area full of history and culture right on its doorstep. One of my favorite things about Dublin, and I could talk all day about Dublin because it is where I'm from, so I only moved here a few years ago, but one of the incredible things about this city is that it's so surprising by nature, and on your doorstep you really have amazing, incredible beaches. You're framed by the mountains, which is really unusual for a city. You can then go 2 hours north and be in Northern Ireland, an incredible city like Belfast, which is the Titanic city, home to the Ship of Dreams, as well as the Causeway coastal route. And you'll also hear from two amazing businesses from Northern Ireland, so I won't talk too much about that. But you go all the way up north and you can go down onto the west coast to the Wild Atlantic Way. The Wild Atlantic Way is the world's longest coastal touring route at 2,500 kilometers, and there's incredible, spectacular sites all along. One of them that you may be familiar with is our iconic Cliffs of Moher, pictured here on the left. And there's castles and amazing cities and towns and quaint little countryside villages dotted all along this incredible route. And then last but not least is Ireland's Ancient East. So as I said, on Dublin's doorstep, you can be at Newgrange, which is over 5,000 years old, in just 40 minutes. The great thing about Newgrange is it's older than the pyramids in Giza. It's older than Stonehenge. And, you know, one of the incredible phenomenons about it, or why it's so popular, is that on the winter solstice every year, the sun shines through the roof chamber at this passage tomb and illuminates the entire inner workings of the building. And they do amazing tours to recreate that. And that's just one example of some of the incredible stuff to do along Ireland's ancient East. Before I hand over to Patrice from the Europe, I also just wanted to remind you, or maybe inform you if you didn't know, that Ireland is the birthplace of Halloween. So I know we're all not ready to say goodbye to summer just yet, but Halloween is just around the corner, October 31st. And Halloween did originate from Ireland over 3,000 years ago with the Celtic pagan festival of Samhain. So lots of fun stuff that originated from Ireland that you might not be aware of, but will be very familiar with in North America, here in Canada. So for example, carving jack-o'-lanterns or carving pumpkins. That actually originally came from the Irish carving turnips. And when we emigrated en masse in the 1800s, turnips weren't as readily available. And that's why we started carving pumpkins. I, for one, am incredibly grateful for that, because I have tried to go back to my traditional roots and carve a turnip, and I nearly lost all my fingers. So very grateful for that one. Another fun thing is that the idea of dressing up in costume for Halloween, trick-or-treating, that kind of originated from Ireland too, because we used to dress up in costume to ward off evil spirits away from our crops. And last but not least is here on the bottom right, you can see barmbrack. It's like a traditional fruitcake that we make every Halloween. And the cake essentially tells your future. So I won't give away all the fun details, but in that cake, when you're baking it, you would put little trinkets, so secret ingredients, if you will, which could be a ring, for example, or could be a piece of cloth, could be a thimble. And those little trinkets meant something about your future and what the future had in store for you if you got that slice of cake. So for example, if you got the ring, it meant that you were getting married in the near future. If you got a piece of cloth, it meant that you weren't going to be very financially well off in the coming months. And if you got a thimble, you were destined to be single for the rest of your life. So just some fun facts to leave you with. And now I will hand over to Patrice, who's going to tell you a little bit more about the phenomenal Europe Hotel and Resort in Killarney, County Kerry.
Thank you very much, Sandra, and good evening or good morning and good afternoon to all of you. It is my great pleasure to be speaking to you from Killarney in the beautiful southwest of Ireland. I don't know if many of you or if all of you are familiar with the area, but over the next couple of minutes, I will be delighted to give you a little snapshot into this really special corner of Ireland, a little view into the hotel, and just tell you all of the fabulous things that you can do here. Certainly, from the perspective of luxury and outdoor vacations, Killarney must be top of your list when coming to Ireland. So a little bit about who we are and where we are. From the map of Ireland, if you're not familiar, you can see in the southwest corner of the country is County Kerry, which is also known as the Kingdom of Kerry, and rightly so. And Killarney is at the very centre of County Kerry. Now, what's so special is that it's surrounded by 26,000 acres of national parkland. It overlooks and is home to 3 of the largest lakes in Killarney, and is also home to Ireland's highest mountain range. So from the perspective of getting out into the outdoors and really experiencing the picture perfect and postcard version of Ireland, Killarney is where it is. A few little facts about Killarney. It's only 30 minutes from the ocean, so the Wild Atlantic Way, as Sandra mentioned. It's a very small town. It only has a population of about 14,500 people. So it's a very quaint town, but it's a really popular destination, not only with locals, but also international visitors. Killarney, it's known as the Ireland's adventure capital because of all of the fantastic things to do in the area. And it's also a UNESCO World Biosphere Reserve. So for any guests that are looking to really get into nature, to be out and to be active, it really is a fantastic destination. But before I talk about all the amazing things to see and do, I'm going to take you for a quick step inside our beautiful property, the Europe Hotel and Resort. So it's a 5-star hotel, it's 187 bedrooms, and it's one of 3 beautiful properties in County Kerry that's owned by the same collection, Killarney Hotels Limited. So as you can see, this is the view from the lobby. So really breathtaking from the moment you step inside. It's very contemporary, but very much reflective of the colours of the national park. So a beautiful, serene place to spend your time. There's really fantastic public areas as well, which especially now more than ever when guests are travelling, it's lovely to have that sense of space, that sense of privacy as well within an area. So areas like the library and also the lounge as well, just are excellent places for guests to constantly relax in and just really take in their surroundings. We have 5 fantastic dining outlets on site as well, along with 2 bars. So just to let you know, our typical length of stay is 3 nights because there's so much to explore in the area. So we just find that having 5 different dining outlets on site, it just means that guests have a little bit of variety during their stay. And also Killarney town centre is only 5 minutes away, and there's really fantastic restaurants, bars and nightlife in there as well. We have beautiful terrace dining options as well for overlooking the lakes, and for any adventure days out in the national park, we can prepare gourmet picnics, or for boat trips on the lake, we can have that all ready for our guests as well, which is really nice to be able to do. A little step inside and look at the accommodation. We have some really beautiful options, quite spacious actually compared to our continental Europe counterparts. So from about 400 square feet for our Golfside and Lakeview rooms, right up to 1,600 square feet with our suites. Now, all of our rooms include complimentary full Irish breakfast, and the vast majority of our rooms as well have private balconies to really take in all of the surroundings. Now, one of the highlights of the hotel, I have to say, is Spa of the Europe. It won Hotel Spa of the Year in the European Hotel Awards in 2019. It's a 50,000 square foot spa on site. So certainly a really fantastic amenity for us to have and for our guests to enjoy. Something that's really nice about the property is we don't charge any resort fees. So our guests have complimentary access to all of our on-site leisure facilities. So for example, with Spa of the Europe, there is the indoor pool, the outdoor vitality pool, sauna, steam rooms, lifestyle showers. Guests have unlimited access to this. We also have complimentary horse riding on site and tennis in our 2 indoor courts as well. So certainly for people who want to keep very active, it really is absolutely fantastic. We have the spa itself is split over 2 different levels, and we have 1 exclusive treatment level. So in this, we have 17 treatment rooms, including a really romantic couples treatment room as well, and also private facilities in this area as well. So for guests that really want to have a luxurious element, a wellness element to their vacation, especially if they're spending a lot of time maybe golfing or hiking or really getting outdoors and active, it's lovely to be able to have that respite in-house as well. But enough about inside the hotel. What you really want to know about as well is everything to do outside for guests to enjoy. And really Killarney and the National Park are unrivaled in terms of their views and location. You can explore the National Park right from the hotel itself. So we're very lucky to be located right on the lakeshore. We have our own private pier, which you can see in this image here. So we can arrange either for groups or for individuals or for families or couples, fantastic boating on the lakes, fishing on the lakes, kayaking, stand-up paddle boarding. We can arrange gillies. So it's really about getting immersed in the national park, out into nature, and just breathing in all of that beautiful fresh air that we have right on our doorstep. We are adjacent to Killarney Golf and Fishing Club, and we're delighted to be able to offer discounted green fee rates. But not only is there a golf club right next door to the hotel, but we're equidistant to some of the most spectacular and famous links golf courses that Ireland have to offer. So if guests are really into golfing, they can easily visit the likes of Lahinch and Waterville and Ballybunion, all while still staying in the hotel. As I mentioned previously, we have 2 indoor tennis courts and also our own horses on site as well. However, if guests really want to make a day of it, they can go for example, half-day horse riding trips through the national park as well. Now, some of the views you're looking at is right out on our doorstep. The famous glacial valley, the Gap of Dunlow, is only 5 minutes away from the hotel, and this is a really special trip. So there's no cars allowed on this area, so the only way to explore it is either by foot, by bicycle, or by the very traditional jaunting car trips, which you can see in your top left-hand corner. And this is a really wonderful experience, a half-day trip. You can go through the glacial valley accompanied by a local Jarvey who drives the jaunting car. That takes you halfway through to a hunting lodge called Lord Brandon's Cottage. And then afterwards you finish the trip by going on a boat to the lakes, which is a really beautiful cruise through the lakes. And you can either end back at the hotel pier again, or alternatively at historic Ross Castle, which is a 15th century castle, only a 10-minute boat trip away from the hotel and right beside Killarney town centre. So that's a really, really lovely half-day trip, and it doesn't involve too much time in a car or a bus or anything like that. Nature and wildlife is really fantastic. And as I mentioned, Killarney is a UNESCO World Biosphere, and especially if you've guests that are looking at maybe coming to Ireland in the shoulder season or the off-season months, autumn is a really beautiful time to visit Killarney. As you can imagine, 26,000 acres of national parkland, the colours are spectacular, but it's also rutting season as well, and we're famous for our red deer. So for nature or wildlife enthusiasts, it's a really great time to visit. The Ring of Kerry is one of the most spectacular touring routes in the country, and we're located directly on it. And for those who are culturally curious or want to maybe look back on a little bit of history, the likes of Mucker's House is only 10 minutes away from the hotel. And this is where Queen Victoria and her husband Albert in the 1860s vacationed, and it's preserved completely to the way it was. And it really is, I guess, a throwback to kind of the Downton Abbey style era, and it's a really beautiful and historical site to visit. For really the adventurous spirits, the world is your oyster in Killarney. We overlook Carrauntoohil, which is Ireland's highest mountain, so you can hike that with the accompaniment of a guide. As I mentioned, world-class golfing, 30 minutes away from the Atlantic Ocean for fantastic surfing. We can do kayaking, fishing off the coast as well. Really, if you want to get out and about in Ireland, it is such an easy and beautiful country to do it in, regardless of the season. For us internally, we like to make your life as easy as possible. So we, every year at the beginning of the year, set our rates, which we do not yield as we go through. So I'll be happy, for example, to send you FIT commissionable rates. And once we have the availability in-house, those rates are the same. They do not change whether it's a Wednesday or a Sunday. And we like to keep things as simple as possible. We don't charge any resorts fees, and all costs are included in it. As Sandra mentioned a little bit earlier about the COVID-19 Safety Charter, we are very proud to be holders of that charter. So you can rest assured that our team, our management, and everybody on site upholds the safety and enjoyment of our guests in the highest regard. And we take it very, very seriously, and we're very proud of being, the best and the safest property that we can be. Just to very, very quickly mention before I go is that we have two really beautiful sister properties also in County Kerry. The 5-star Dunlow Hotel and Gardens is situated only 5 minutes away from the Europe Hotel and Resort. And this is a really beautiful 5-star property, really family friendly. It's set on its own 64-acre estate with the ruins of the Dunlow Castle, as you can see in the bottom left. There's fantastic leisure facilities. It's right beside the Gap of Dunlow, and it's really lovely if you have people traveling with little ones, for example. Ardnashee Country House really is an absolute gem on the shores of Cara Lake. It's about 30 minutes from Killarney and about 20 minutes from the Atlantic Ocean. And this is a really lovely property if you are especially thinking about multi-generational families, or maybe couples that want to do a private rental or exclusive use stay. It's on its own 34-acre estate, 18 bedrooms, direct access down to Cara Lake, and it's just really, really beautiful. It's a throwback in time, antique furniture, and it's just something a little bit different and special if you're looking for something private for your guests. Well, I hope that gave you a little taster into County Kerry and everything that we can offer, and I'll be delighted to answer any questions that you may have in the Q&A section afterwards. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Patrice. That was amazing. And I think I've been lucky enough to spend some time at the Europe Hotel, and it really is just a once in a lifetime experience. It's absolutely incredible. And just County Kerry in general, it's something that will stick with you for a lifetime, I think. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you, Sandra.
And now I'm going to hand over to Mary. So Mary's from OM Dark Sky Observatory and is going to share a little bit more about the brand new Stars and Stones experience as part of the Embrace a Giant Spirit Northern Ireland brand. So over to you, Mary.
Thank you, Sandra. Well, many thanks for the opportunity to speak with you this afternoon. My name is Mary McKeown. I'm the tourism manager and the point of contact for the Stars and Stone Experience and the Dark Sky Observatory. Now, Dava is situated only 80 minutes from Belfast, and you'll hear later on the Merchant Hotel. So it's an 80-minute drive from the Merchant in Belfast. You are 2 hours, 20 minutes from Dublin Airport, and from the Wild Atlantic Way, from the shores of it into Donegal, it would take you an hour and a half. So we're very central also to the city of Derry, which is 35 minutes from Dava. It is situated in an area of outstanding natural beauty in the Spurn Mountains. Dava itself translates into cauldron, and you may ask, why are you telling me this? I'm telling you this today because this is how we are protected from light pollution. Hence, that's why we are Northern Ireland's first dark sky park and observatory. So what is the meaning of The meaning of firstly, represents the sound of the universe. The planets are beautiful landscapes, and then looking at through our telescope, it represents the lens of a telescope, and we are very fortunate to have Beckmore stone circles as part of our park. Our Ugham stones are where we first wrote our first Irish alphabet. As I said earlier, Dark Sky Park and Observatory is the 78th dark sky park in the world. 80% of people live under sky glow, which means you cannot see the stars or the planets above you with your naked eye. This park is a true star party in the sky. We also have 31 kilometres of mountain bike trails, including our new solar walk, which comes from our modern day observatory in Beckmore Stone Circles, which dates back 6000 BC. This walk is led by a tour guide with living history characters at Beckmore Stone Circles, which brings the experience to life. You are now looking at Observatory. The centre was scheduled to open on the 2nd of April, but has been postponed due to COVID-19 until the 16th of October this year. Professor Brian Cox was due to launch and open the centre, but unfortunately it was cancelled. Now, what is housed and what will your experience be? Inside the building, there is an interactive visitor centre and exhibition space. There is a retractable roof, and up in the observatory is a 14-inch go-to telescope. And what I mean by that is we can program the telescope to go to any planet or constellation and it will automatically go. We have grab and go cafe facilities, welfare facilities, external viewing terrace and coach parking. We have a series of packages to offer agents and our tour operators. They are categorised into bronze, silver and gold. And if you wish to email me after this, I can certainly speak to you about these and send you on details and costs. Now, the next slide shows an example of our interactive exhibition. The exhibition is led by our tour guide. This slide shows an example of the interactive exhibition. The exhibition is led by the tour guide and lasts approximately 1 hour. This is part of your Stars and Stone experience. It sets the scene, telling you about our constellations, the Northern Lights, which you can see inland on some occasions, and it's the only inland place in Northern Ireland where we have got photography taken where you can see the Aurora Borealis. Our solar system, and of course our nearest galaxy, Andromeda. As the park is situated in the heart of Northern Ireland, the exhibition also tells you about our heritage, our links with archaeology, because we believe what happened in the sky influenced why those people thousands of years ago laid those stones at Beckmore and other places in Ireland, which Beckmore is only situated 2 miles from the observatory. The exhibition boasts state-of-the-art holograms, VR headsets and digital screens. We have handouts in the exhibition in Mandarin, French, Spanish and German. The staff can assist you with day and night viewing of the sky, and on summer days we can look at the sun with our solar telescope. We work very closely with the Irish Astronomy Association, who has kindly donated us a 40-year-old telescope, which we will use on our VIP bespoke tours with a one-to-one astronomer. The next slide then speaks about our strong Irish links that we have. We are pleased to say that James Irwin, who flew in the Apollo 15 mission, relatives only live a few miles away from the observatory. And in July next year, we will be having events to celebrate the 50-year anniversary of this mission. Once you finish your exhibition, you're taken outside, and this is a very unique experience. You're given a headset and you're brought outside to our beautiful landscape area where you will stand and you will see a light show. And we'll just flick through the slides very quickly. Unfortunately, it's not a live video, but this gives you a bit of a flavour. And you saw there the sika deer, and there's sika deer that live in the forest. So when you come to Dava, it's not all about astronomy. It's all about our landscapes. It's about our standing stones and the Ugham stone. But I'm here today to tell you about the Stars and Stone experience. We've taken everything which is good in the area and we've packaged it and called it the Stars and Stones, which I think is an excellent title to this experience. Now, there's a local farmer and he has built these high-end luxury glamping pods, which to me look like something out of Star Wars, but they are beautiful, and they have a glass triangular roof where you can lie in the mezzanine area of your glamping pod and view the dark sky. And what we can do and offer for you is we can provide either an archaeology, if you're into archaeology, we can get astronomers, and we can also put on a star party and food and a barbecue, but whatever your guests wish, so you can have a weekend of both daytime and an evening time entertainment. Now, our opening times for the observatory are opened all year round, Monday to Thursday 11 to 7, and Friday to Saturday 11 to 9, and Sunday 11 to 7. But you may say, but the sky is dark. When will we be able to see the dark sky? When will we be able to look up with our naked eye and see the Milky Way, the constellations and the planets? We can provide private bookings for yourselves in our gold package. We can do exhibition tours, access to the Meet telescope, solar viewing, and as I say, tour guiding with our living history and our archaeology, tea, coffee and biscuits, or additional refreshments, whatever your clients require. But thank you very much, everybody, for listening to me today. I'm delighted to speak to you at our Q&A. My name is Mary McKeown, and my details is on the next slide.
That's great, Mary. Thank you so much. And that whole area really is an area of outstanding natural beauty. And I, for one, I'm certainly dreaming of lying in one of those glamping pods and staring at the stars. It sounds beautiful. So now I will hand you over to Paula Stevens from the stunning Merchant Hotel.
Oh, hi. Thanks very much, Sandra. Lovely to get chatting to you all tonight. Thanks so much for joining us today. So the Merchant Hotel is a 5-star hotel based in the heart of Belfast city centre. It's the only red 5-star hotel in Northern Ireland. The building was the headquarters of the Ulster Bank, and which dates back to 1860. So we opened in 2006 with 26 bedrooms and suites. And then, as you can see from this slide, we added a huge kind of Art Deco inspired extension onto the hotel in 2010. So we've actually doubled in size. We're located in what's called the historic Cathedral Quarter of Belfast city centre. It's only 90 minutes from Dublin Airport, so it's really accessible. So we now have 62 bedrooms and suites. So you can see on the next slide, we have 2 different room styles. So these are what we call our Victorian Splendour rooms. These are all located in what was originally the bank. So they're all a bit of a mixture of shapes and sizes just because of the nature of the building. Our owner and his wife went to France and they sourced all of the antique furnishings. So if you just skim across there, you can see there's a couple of different images of those rooms. They've all got sort of the mod cons that you would expect, like sort of air conditioning. And then as part of the extension, then we add these Art Deco inspired bedrooms. So these rooms would be slightly bigger and brighter. But the amenities within the rooms are exactly the same. It's just really the style of the room. So there's lots of mirror and glass. So they're very much based on the 1920s. This is a great image, I think, of one of our twin bedded rooms. All of the twin rooms have 2 double beds. They're all doubles. And quite often when I'm doing site inspections or show rounds, a lot of the agents will say, oh, this is one of your suites, but it's actually just one of the Art Deco style rooms. I guess in terms of pricing, we call them the entry level bedrooms, which I hate to say, but it's the Victorian style rooms, then it's the Art Deco. If you have a client and you think they definitely have a preference for a Victorian style room or an Art Deco style room, we can check at the time of you making the reservation what room type's available, and you can lock in the particular room type that you prefer. So a couple of little designer features there on that last slide. There's a little Bibendum chair based on the Michelin Man, and the Art Deco rooms all have those little Hollywood style lights. I don't know if any of you watched The Fall at all, which is a TV show based in Belfast with Jamie Dornan and Gillian Anderson. And the image there with the mirror is in the wardrobe, and Jamie Dornan's character was hiding in the wardrobe. So that was quite exciting to be part of The Fall. And then on the next slide, then we jump back into the Victorian side of the hotel, and these are into the suites, and the suites are all named after Irish poets and playwrights. So they're back on the original side of the building. The ceilings you can see in 4 out of the 5 rooms are double heighted, so like this one in the Heaney suite. The amenities again are the same within the rooms. If you jump onto the next suite then, so this one's called the C.S. Lewis. So 2 of the suites have separate living areas. The C.S. Lewis, some of you will know that he wrote the Chronicles of Narnia and the Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. So he was actually born in East Belfast, just down the road from where I live, but he would have spent his holidays in the Mourne Mountains, and that's where he got the inspiration for the Narnia stories. So that was nice to name it after that. And then we also have the McNeice suite, and you can see in that suite it's all just all in one rather than 2 separate rooms. And then the jewel in the crown of the hotel is the Great Room Restaurant. It's our fine dining restaurant, but this is where we serve breakfast. So you can imagine your guests coming down to have breakfast in this lovely space. It's an AA Rosette restaurant, and it was the original banking hall. So the photographs don't do it justice at all. There's a gorgeous chandelier that you can see hanging there. To put it into perspective, when the hotel first opened, we had a Bentley, and the chandelier actually cost more than the Bentley. We're also really popular for our afternoon tea. So again, that's where we would serve our afternoon tea in the restaurant. It closed in the month of March for a full refurbishment, and we had planned a lovely reopening party at the beginning of April, but obviously the builders downed tools in the middle of March and picked them up again in the middle of June. So we were lucky when we were able to open in July that we had this lovely new space. So we're getting lots of great comments about it. And then we also refurbished the cocktail bar at the same time. So the hotel's won lots of awards since we've opened, but the cocktail bar in particular has won a lot of awards. There's one in particular called Tales of the Cocktail, and they're like the Oscars for the cocktail world. And we won, a couple of years ago, we won an award for having the world's best cocktail bar. So that's something that we're obviously very, very proud of. Again, as I was saying, it's completely refurbished. So we have some lovely new bar stools, but unfortunately with the COVID situation going on and everything kind of socially distanced, we've had to take the bar stools out. That's one of the cocktails that I think Erin in the cocktail bar is making for me currently to enjoy later this evening. And then we also have the Clothier. This is our pub. This is kind of very much more relaxed dining and drinking. This is where you would come and have your first pint of Guinness. Our owner said when he was growing up, his mum used to say to him, "You don't listen to me. You've got Clothiers," and that's where he got the inspiration to call it the Clothier. So that actually had a refurbishment last year as well. And then we also have a jazz bar, French bistro style restaurant and jazz bar, and it has live jazz every night. So it's the only jazz bar in Northern Ireland that would have live jazz every single evening. And then we also have a spa, not quite the spa that Patrice has. I'm very envious and look forward to a visit there soon. But we have 5 treatment rooms, a hydrotherapy area, relaxation room. And then up on the 6th floor of the hotel, we have a gymnasium. So we don't always tend to find our leisure guests in the gym doing a bit of a workout, but quite often they'll go up and have a look at the views. And it's just a very different way of kind of seeing the city. And it also has an outdoor hot tub, which looks over the Titanic quarter, so you can see the cranes there of Harland and Wolff in the background. And then this is the slide. This is a team picture basically that we had taken when we were awarded our 5 red stars by the AA. So it was something that we had worked quite hard with the AA since we added the Art Deco wing to the hotel. So the general manager is the gentleman in the front in the grey suit. So you can see he's very happy. Equally as happy as the owner of the hotel, Bill Bowlesy. He's standing right behind him. And then I was 5 minutes late. They told me to be there at midday. I was there a few minutes late. So my arm is one of the arms waving away at the back. That'll teach me to be late. So I'll also then want to tell you a little bit of other things that you can do while you're in Belfast in Northern Ireland. We would certainly recommend to try and spend at least 2 days. One of the main things that people will do now when they come to Belfast is to visit Titanic Quarter, and in particular to visit the Titanic exhibition. It's the world's largest Titanic exhibition, and it very much tells a story about life in Belfast in the early 1900s before talking about the shipbuilding, and then obviously onto Titanic. One of the other things that we could recommend would be the black taxi tour. So you could either do the sort of Titanic exhibition in the morning and then do the black taxi tour in the afternoon. And that's where they take you around sort of, the driver will tell you about their political past and take you around the different political murals. You can do a stop at Crumlin Road Jail, which is where we kept our political prisoners until the sort of the early 1990s. And then some of you might have heard, Mary has touched on it there, about this new Tourism Northern Ireland experience brand called Embrace the Giant Spirit. So it's to give you, it's a sort of 20 different kind of unique experiences which give you a sense of our culture and landscape, people and food. So one of the ones there is the Belfast food tour. So Belfast has become a real food destination. So it's a great way to get to know the city. Get to taste lots of the produce. There's also a visit to Tracy's farmhouse. I'm actually booked into Tracy's farmhouse at the beginning of September, so I can tell you all a bit more about it once I've actually been to it, but it's a very hands-on Irish bread making experience. You can also do a visit to Hillsborough Castle. Hillsborough Castle is home to the royal family when they come to visit Northern Ireland, so you get kind of a guided tour by one of the staff, and they'll tell you all about the royal families and the different celebrations that they had and the political conversations that have taken place over the years, and the celebrities that have stayed there as well. We also have a UNESCO World Heritage site in the Giant's Causeway, so you would travel along the Giant's Causeway up along this beautiful coastal road. The Lonely Planet have said the Causeway Coast Road is one of the top 10 coastal drives in the world. You can also, on your way to the Giant's Causeway, stop at Carrick-a-Reid Rope Bridge. So anyone can stop at the rope bridge. It's not open at the minute, but hopefully with next summer that it will be. But one of the new brand experiences is called Beyond the Bridge. So you'll meet with Mark, and he'll take you across the rope bridge, down along a little path into the fisherman's hut, and you'll hear about life in the mid-1970s and hear all about the salmon fishing that took place then. A couple of the other experiences that we would suggest doing, and I'm certainly going to make my way through them hopefully over the next several months, is Whiskey on the Rocks. So again, you do a guided tour of the Giant's Causeway, and then a guide from Bushmills Distillery comes to meet you, and then you do some Irish whiskey tasting on the rocks. There's another picture then of Mark. He has another experience called Dander with Dalriada, and that's like a very authentic and personal private guided tour, and he tells you kind of his stories from his family from many years ago growing up in the area. And then if you or any of your clients would be Game of Thrones fans, I'm not sure if you're aware that the first few seasons of Game of Thrones were all filmed in Belfast and Northern Ireland. We had the Titanic Studios, where most of the indoor filming was taking place, and then there's lots of different filming locations now, so all these tours have kind of popped up all over the province, where you can then go and visit these filming locations. And then we're also really well known for our golf. Patrice has mentioned it as well. there's 2 of the world's top 10 golf courses in Northern Ireland. Royal Portrush, which hosted the Open last year, and Royal County Down. We would get a lot of golf groups staying here at the Merchant. We had a super year on the back of the Open, with lots of golf tour operators and travel agents having booked business with us for this year, but unfortunately that wasn't to be. So that's pretty much the Merchant and Northern Ireland. And yes, look forward to taking any questions at the end. Thanks so much.
That was brilliant, Paula. Thank you so much. And for that whistle-stop tour of Northern Ireland too, like so many amazing outdoor experiences on the city of Belfast's doorstep. And I think for the Merchant Hotel, what a testament to luxury when your twin rooms are mistaken for suites. That's pretty amazing.
I know. Thank you so much. It was a bit of a whistle-stop tour. I was trying to cram everything in.
There's so much to see and do. I don't think any of us would ever be able to, but that was fantastic synopsis. So I really appreciate it.
Yes, I'm going to be making my way through those giant, embrace the giant experiences. So my next presentation will have me with actual photos doing the experiences.
Can't wait to see them. And you mentioned Tracy's Farmhouse Kitchen. Actually, we'll talk about some of the resources that Tourism Ireland has for you guys and the travel trade. One of those is a lot of content, and we have lots of videos from Tracy in her farmhouse kitchen, showcasing how to make you know, her amazing breads and things like that, and a recipe called 15s from her property there in Northern Ireland too. So I'll make sure to share that with everybody so you can get a taste of that for yourselves virtually here in Canada. But a couple of, just a recap on some of the things that us at Tourism Ireland can do for you, or resources we have available. So we do very regular newsletters and product updates, just so you are all abreast of everything that's happening on the island of Ireland. We're also available for sales calls, previously in person, now virtual. Happy to do any training sessions or, you know, even virtual consumer events, whatever you think will help you build your client base and build back demand for travel. You know, we're really here and just want to let you know that we are here to support you however you need. We have an office here in Toronto, and we're available by email or by phone at any time. We also have the Ireland Insiders Facebook group. So this is exclusive to Canadian agents. It's a community of travel professionals, about 350 of us now, who are all passionate about all things Ireland. So we will share the latest updates on those safety charters, any travel restrictions, anything related to COVID-19, as well as new product and shareable content to promote to your own database. We want to make it as easy as possible for you all to be able to share travel and share Ireland content. So you can just click, with a click of a button, then you can get that content out to your own databases. It's also an interactive forum. So if you have a question that you want to ask, pop it up there on that Facebook group, and I monitor that very closely every day, and I will be sure to get back to you as soon as possible. So there is the link here, if you want to request to join. There are some membership questions there, and I will give you access to that group. If you don't have time to take down that URL, you can go to our consumer page, Discover Ireland CA on Facebook, and just click groups, and you'll be able to access the page that way as well. We have our website as well, ireland.com. So this is just a plethora of content from the inspiration stage or to practical tips and planning, as well as the latest COVID-19 updates. And we are also working to fill your heart with Ireland. So we do have a campaign on at the moment which aims to share just a taste of what is happening on the island of Ireland and bring a taste of Ireland to you here in Canada while we can't actually travel just at this moment. So we're looking at doing virtual tours. We have a wellness series, so some calming videos. That's there on the Killarney lakes that Patrice showed you. We have humour and storytelling. The Irish are known for spinning a good yarn. So we have lots of content around that. And of course, Paula mentioned Game of Thrones. We are known for our film locations. So whether it is Game of Thrones or Star Wars or even the Netflix show Dairy Girls, we have lots of content there for you to enjoy. Last but not least, we also have our Ireland Specialist Program. So this is available on the website trade.ireland.com. It's a short course that will enable you to become an Ireland specialist. There is multiple categories, so if you want to specialize in golf or luxury, it will then give you a short quiz at the end of the course, and when you pass that, it will give you a certificate to say that you are an Ireland specialist, and it really makes you stand out as a destination specialist to your clients and give you that edge when you are selling the destination to them. So now we will open up for a Q&A. So let me see. John has asked for Paula specifically. The Fall is a great show. Love British and Irish TV. Question: did they ever catch Paul Spector? So I'm not sure if you're able to answer that one, Paula.
Oh, it's just come back on Netflix, so I don't think I should say anything. You need to watch it and see.
Okay, we'll just have to watch along. Donna has also asked, what is the story of Belfast Castle? So whether Mary or Paula, if you want to answer that.
Do you know, I would have to do a bit of research in Belfast Castle. I haven't been to it in a long time. Mary, do you know?
I know a wee bit about it. It's Victorian era, I believe, and now it does a bit of catering, and you can hire it out for weddings and functions. So it is a beautiful place, and it's a beautiful views across the city of Belfast.
Yeah.
So
you can walk up to it, but I don't know anything else.
Donna, do you know what? If you send us your email address, we'll send you all the information you need to know. You've caught us out.
I know.
I love it. And yeah, join that Facebook group too. I'm going to go and do a little bit of digging too, and we'll come up with some stories for Belfast Castle. I'm sure there's a lot of them. Sorry to put you on the spot there, guys.
That's fine.
Of course, we'll allow some more time for people to submit questions to either the chat box or the Q&A box. Feel free to submit your questions in either place. And a couple people had asked about the recording of this webinar, because I know sometimes people, if you get stuck on a call or something like that, you can't always sign in right at the beginning. So yeah, if you happen to miss any part of this webinar, including the beginning of it, the recording will be shared on the Baxter Media YouTube channel by tomorrow. So if you search for, and feel free to subscribe to our channel as well. If you search for Baxter Media on YouTube, you'll see our blue logo with a white background. Feel free to subscribe to us on there, and the recording of today's webinar will be made available tomorrow morning.
Great, Dan, thank you. We'll give it another minute or two. You're a quiet bunch today. I'll give it another minute or two for questions, but just wanted to share as well, this is everybody's contact information for today. So Patrice, Mary, and Paula, if you do want to follow up with them directly, here is their contact information. And Don, I believe you'll probably circulate this by email afterwards as well, am I correct?
Yes, that's right. I can supply that in the email, the follow-up email that goes out to everybody. And in that email, I'll include the, I'll just include the link to the YouTube recording in that email. Okay,
that's great. Thank you. Before I leave you all, or we leave you all, this is one of my favorite Seamus Heaney quotes, and it's called, "If we winter this one out, we can summer anywhere," and just always catches my attention, particularly in this crazy environment that we're in. And just wanted to say a massive thank you both to our presenters, so Paula, Patrice, and Mary. Thank you so much for joining us and taking the time in the evening. It's nearly 8 p.m. there tonight in Ireland at the moment. And to all of you, our travel agents, just for all of your work over the last few months. I know it's been a crazy time for all of us, especially in the travel industry. And just thank you for taking the time to spend time with us today and learning about Ireland and engaging with us. And just know that we are always here to support you however we can.
Absolutely. Thank you so much to everyone that attended the webinar today. I just want to double check here that there are no other questions submitted. Nicole says, thank you so much. That was very interesting. Thank you, Nicole.
Thanks, Nicole.
And I do believe that's it from the questions from the audience. But I'd like to give a huge thank you to Sandra for organizing this webinar. And thank you very much to our guest speakers, Mary, Paula, and Patrice. It was a pleasure hearing you all present today. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Thanks again, Sandra, as well. And thanks, Dan, for facilitating.
Yeah,
and to my co-presenters, brilliant.
Thank you. Thanks, girls.
Thanks, everybody. All right. Have a good evening.
Thanks all. Thank you, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.